What's happening, brother?
Yo, what is going up?
Not too much, my brother. Um, Having an awesome weekend. Glad I'm here. Always fun to be with my brother, the Sasquatch.
Absolutely. I want to wish everybody a happy Mother's Day,
Ex-
including my mom. She get happy Mother's Day. Thanks for you and my dad doing the nasty, 43 years ago, and making you a mother for the second time. Thank you. I appreciate it.
right. Yep. So pretty fun weekend. We had Mother's Day. We had a pay-per-view event. Friday we had a really good SmackDown. I'd like to say there was
Yeah.
probably one match for me that
Thanks,
stood
Baker.
out Friday night. That was the Nia Jax Jade Cargill match.
Yeah. Nia made her look like $1,000,000.
She
And
did.
the thing that really impressed me was, even though if it was a men's match, he would have been like halfway, 3/4 of the way across the ring. When Jade launched her off the top, like
Right.
that was made her look like $1 bazillion, like the star
Right.
that WWE is hoping that she'll be.
Right. And that's the thing is I think the time off,
Yeah,
I think Jade got some training in, but I think she's learning how to work better with everybody.
yeah,
And like I said, Nia's been in it for a long time. So I mean she really did lead her good and make her look like $1 million Friday night. So, the ladies are coming in strong. That ladies division is doing some awesome stuff.
yep,
So yeah, for sure. Um,
100%.
Yep. We got Baker and we got Joshua Ricks. What's up? What's happening, fellas?
Oh, what's going
So,
on? Thanks, Baker. I appreciate it. Right now, it's a 101. It will be up on my Etsy store
heck
eventually.
yeah.
This is the test run. I liked how it turned out. I just don't like the shirt that I put it on, but it will be
Right.
eventually available, like everything else. So.
What's up, Bearded?
Oh, what's going on, Born? What's up, Ricks? How you guys doing? Welcome,
Doing good,
welcome to
fellas.
the Syndicate. See,
Yes,
uh,
indeed.
watch two weirdos with beards talk about wrestling and everything else.
Right. So,
Hopefully,
there's been something that's
Baker.
been going around this past week, and I figured we could talk
Uh,
about it
yes,
because it's kind of interesting, right? What is it? The hundred men versus
the
one
Gorilla
gorilla,
Challenge.
right?
Yeah,
And my boy, I gotta tell you, man, I absolutely love everything that Big Papa Pump does, Scott Steiner,
yeah,
and
absolutely.
you gotta love the Steiner math. And with his breakdown of this was absolutely hilarious. You know, it is just awesome. He says, let's say you got 100 average men, no weapons, no training, just fear in their eyes, and dad bods in their way. Then you got one full-grown silverback gorilla, 600 pounds of pure rage, muscle, and tree-ripping power. Now here comes the truth, and I gotta agree with them on some of this, right? Out of those 100 men, maybe 25% don't even show up because they see the gorilla. That's 25 cowards eliminated immediately. Then you got, here comes the Scott Steiner math, right? Then you got 33 and 1/3% of them trying to talk it out. They're done. Another 20% just stand there frozen, pissing their pants. Now you're left with about 21 guys, panicked, half committed, and getting launched like lawn darts. But what if Big Papa Pump's in the mix? You just tip the freaking scale. Now it's not 100 men versus one gorilla. It's one gorilla versus the genetic freak. And that spells disaster for that gorilla. You know,
Oh my God.
you gotta love Scott Steiner,
You know
Big
what?
Papa Pump,
I
man.
would pay to see somebody launch people like lawn darts. I would. That's great. I mean, I
Right,
don't know about you, but '80s that was the top top technology. Let's just throw javelins at each other, and hopefully
right,
we can make it in front of a ring in front of somebody without hurting them.
right,
But if we
right,
can
right,
do that with people, 100%.
right, right.
And by the way, he described me ripping out a tree out of the forest. It wasn't the silverback. It was just me.
Okay, I mean, when you talk gorilla or you talk Sasquatch, people I think forget how strong these things are, like
Yeah.
if somebody looked at me and said, Tactical Santa, are you going to go fight a silverback gorilla or a Sasquatch? I'm like, well, am I armed and what do I have? Because I'm not going to go fight with my arms,
All
right?
right.
And
So this is the question. Went around my job a couple of times,
sure.
and every man has probably thought about this. That at what level and what animal would you think that you could take and like legitimately beat in a fight?
Man.
I see. I got mine, and
Okay.
mine will surprise you, but there's a caveat to mine. So,
Okay.
all right, I'm gonna let you go first.
Man, me
So,
like so the caveat would have to be before the heart surgeries,
yeah,
right? Are we
clearly,
talking
you in your prime
in my prime, weighing
versus
300
that animal
pounds,
in the prime.
strong?
Like, what animal could you take down?
You know what? I'm gonna play it kind of safe. I'm gonna say a deer. I'm gonna take down a deer because, well, they got antlers and stuff. I guess I got to be sneaky and kind of like ambush it and take
Okay,
it down. But
yep, okay.
I'm not playing with a lot of stuff that Mother Nature has created. You know what I mean? Like
No,
there's just too many.
like I said, there's some caveats that you have to play around with it.
Sure.
Like take for example, if you wanted to fight a Komodo dragon, you would have to take out the bite. You know what I mean? Like that would
Right.
kill you. You know what I mean?
Right.
Something like
Right.
that. That's the only caveat.
Right.
And you know what, chat? Please chime in. Let us know
Yeah.
what animal you think on the chain that you could take down. You legitimately could take down.
Right.
My caveat would be it would have to be declawed because it has like a 2.5, 3 inch razor sharp claw. A kangaroo.
Ooh. Okay.
I could
Yeah.
take down a kangaroo.
Oh.
I could take down a
Wow.
kangaroo. Like I
Wow.
said, they when you consider they stand up on their hind legs, they're like 6'1", 6'2". So we're
Right.
right there for height wise because I'm 6'6".
Right. Right.
You declaw a kangaroo, I could fight a kangaroo.
I think that if I had the tag team of you and
Mm-hmm.
Big Papa Pump, Scott Steiner,
There you
I think that you guys could probably take Godzilla out.
go. Mm-hmm. It'll
You
be
know,
tough. It'll be tough. King Kong, yeah, King Kong, no problem.
I, Godzilla,
Godzilla might be a
uh,
little tough. Like I might take a couple battle damage points on that one.
what's happening, Chris? True North in the house.
Again,
Yeah,
I'm telling you, when you fill out the paperwork to become a beer company, you have to put your name
Chris.
down as Chris. That's the rule. That is the law.
Right, right,
So,
right. So, without further ado, I guess we should probably get talking about.
okay, before we go on to that,
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I know we had
yeah.
a whole thing, but I want to send rest in peace to the
Oh
innovator of
yeah.
violence, the guy
Yes.
I actually put my name after today. Sabu,
Right.
he passed away today at
Right.
60, which, to be honest with
Right.
you, I'm
That's
surprised he lived
young.
that long with what
Right.
he did. But he was a stud star in
Yeah.
ECW.
Right.
But yeah, like he changed the game in a good
Yeah.
or bad way, depending on how you look at it. But yeah, good, I want to send, like I said, a rest in peace to
Right.
Sabu and his family. Thoughts
Yes.
and prayers.
Right. I actually got to work some events with Sabu. He when he was with Juggalo Championship Wrestling, they actually worked some pay-per-view events at Clutch Cargo's where I worked at.
Okay.
And you see Sabu and
Yeah.
you're like, this guy is insane. He's crazy, he does all this, but you want to know what he is like in person,
Yeah.
off camera, one of the nicest
Yeah.
guys, super cool, nice dudes.
Yeah.
Um, Sit down, talk with him. I smoked cigarettes with him, and dude, everything was just cool. What a supreme nice
Yeah.
guy. And the one thing that I heard a lot of people talk about Sabu when I was around was that how much he did truly help out a lot of the younger guys. He
Absolutely.
he wasn't a gatekeeper, and he tried to help everybody and tried to grow the business. So
Yeah.
yeah, rest in
Yeah,
peace,
yeah,
Sabu.
he definitely had an impact on the wrestling, and he had a big impact on '90s, especially WWF wrestling.
Hmm.
Even though his run in WCW wasn't what
Right.
WCW, but still, like he had a massive impact on professional wrestling himself. So, but like I
Right.
said, our thoughts and prayers to his family. He will be sorely
Yeah,
missed. So,
definitely.
from one death to another, I guess you want to call it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
So here's my thoughts. We're probably on the same page of this. I viewed this one as kind of like a train wreck. It really wasn't. My thoughts overall is that it was a very short pay per view.
oh yeah, it
It
felt like it was missing something.
Yeah,
Like
it did.
it felt like there was, I don't know, storyline wise,
Yeah,
match wise, it felt like there was like something that would keep the whole pay per view, I
right,
guess, running smoothly together. It did
right.
feel very rushed.
Mm,
And I saw this online, but wasn't there supposed to be a Jey Uso Jake Paul match here? I could have
I th-
swore.
I
And
thought so too because I remember. So I'm watching it, and then we all knew that probably the Cena Randy Orton match was going to be the main event,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And
exactly.
they're like, oh, this one's next, and you're like, wait a minute, like this can't be everything, you know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
And
Like
it
it
ended
was
short.
done at 10 o'clock. Like it started at
Yeah,
what 7 and got done at 10. Which okay, that's
right,
3 hours. That's decent, but I
right,
mean, it just didn't. It didn't seem like a decent pay per view. It felt
right,
like Saturday night's main event show than it did.
right, right, right. Yeah, yeah. So let's talk this first match, man. I know how much you like.
That's my
I'll tell
man
you,
right
man.
there. That's my
And
guy.
that's my boy, man. All gas, no brakes, man.
And
This guy,
I'm just glad that's the U.S. title and not the title that Paige had from like 10 years ago. I mean, okay. That's for another show. I mean,
right?
sorry.
I think out of all the matches, though, this one was pretty badass because
Yes.
everybody had a good rotation of movement, right?
Yeah.
Like,
It's
I'll,
constant.
yeah, yeah,
That see that was the thing I liked, but that was also the thing I hated about this match. Like it was a
right,
great match, but there was too much going on, and you
right,
couldn't. It would have been great live because then you could watch them both, but it was just
right,
it was a lot to go on. Here,
sure,
there, whatever. But I
right,
will say it was pretty funny watching Damian Priest pull Drew McIntyre's head out and say, "Oh, he's
right,
bored at work," but then at the same time they completely missed the shot when he first said it.
right, right.
I don't know what
Um,
good.
was that first movement rotation with LA Knight?
Mhm.
Because LA Knight was the one that fired up first,
Yeah.
right? And he was going, and man, was he? Well, let me ask you this: did that kind of remind you? Because I know we've talked about this before, but give you kind of like a Stone Cold feel, the way he just like. boom, and
Yeah,
he was just
yeah.
laying it all
Like
out, right?
it also to me, I'm not a LA Knight guy. Um,
Yeah,
like he'll do something every once in a while that'll get me, but more than likely,
yeah,
I'm kind of bored with his shtick. You know what I mean?
sure,
But
sure.
it seemed like he wanted to get his stuff in before anybody else. That's what
Yeah,
it seemed like. It looked like
yeah,
he was like, "Oh well, I'm gonna have the eyes on me at the beginning of the match because they,
right.
Drew and Damian had a bigger spot later in the match, and it that see okay, so I was wrong. Okay,
That makes
so
sense.
that's
Yeah,
where
yeah,
okay, that makes more sense.
yep. Thank you, Baker.
Thank you,
Thank
Baker.
you, Baker. Yep.
We clearly didn't do our research for this, so it's
Right.
fine. But yeah, it just seemed like he just like the Rumble. He just wanted to get his stuff in, and he didn't really care what was going on.
Right.
So
Right. Yeah. But I mean, he did. I mean, but if you looked at though, the movements were pretty cool. How
oh
he
yeah,
boom, boom,
yeah,
boom,
it was
and then
very clean. It wasn't too
but
many
it but it
missteps.
seemed like I loved it because, but it seemed like the match was kind of formatted, right? So one guy got on fire, did a whole bunch of moves, knocked everybody out.
Yep.
Wait a couple minutes, then the next guy popped up and he did the same thing, cleared house, and it just was like a rotation of who was going to clear house. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah, and then we get to
Yeah.
closer to the end of the match, and this is
Right.
going to be a running theme on the pay per view. There was an interference by, to
Right.
be honest with you, probably about 80% of the wrestling audience didn't know who the
Right.
guy that popped out was. To be honest with you, me myself was
Right.
one of those people. I had to look him up, and I don't even know
Right.
his name. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
um,
Uh, Eddie Cobb.
Eddie Cobb.
Eddie Cobb.
Yeah, he's been all over the place. He's won world titles. I did do a deep dive on him this morning,
Mm-hmm.
and if you go back and look at all the different organizations he was at to win those titles and who he beat, he was tag
Right.
team champions with Matt Riddle when Matt Riddle was hot. He beat
Right.
David Priest in ROH. He
Right.
beat I forget who else he beat. He beat Gunther for one of the titles
Gunther.
when
Yeah, that's right.
he
Yeah.
was on the Indies. So he's a
Right.
big name, but
Right.
at the same time, the outfit that he had on, like
Did.
I'm a
Yeah.
fat guy, so I know I try to dress somewhat moderately to cover up all of this. But I could have swore that was just a guy jumping the rail from the. I thought he was
Yeah. 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 They
a.
did him no justice with how he was dressed because he's
Exactly.
when
Exactly.
you look him up and look at pictures of him,
Hmm.
the guy's a beast. He
Oh yeah.
is stacked, but I hate to say this, but it's like they gave him a size medium shirt.
Exactly. I'm like,
And
you're looking
yeah,
like a slob trying to make your grand entrance, and
right,
now Solo has another faction to go with, but you see it already going that it's going to
right,
be Solo and Fatu at one of these pay per views coming up.
right,
You see it. It's
right.
probably going to be, to be honest with you, it's probably going to be SummerSlam. I
Yeah,
can see it
yeah,
at SummerSlam, and
right,
then then where they go because
right,
that wasn't that like that was for the title, obviously.
right,
But it's just I don't even know who's like the number one contender for that anymore, since
right,
you just now beat your top three contenders.
right.
Um,
What I got to tell you, I hope that they keep the momentum going with Fatu
yes.
because
Yeah.
you watch this guy move.
Mhm.
I think he's got a couple cool things going for him. You watch his talents there.
Yep.
He's got awesome movement. He can do things that you're like, this guy should not be able to do.
Yep.
I think he has a persona, like his presence, right? He's just got this really cool presence.
Yep.
Um, he's got probably one of my favorite taglines. I love the all gas, no brakes.
Yeah.
I like how he gets all hyped up and he does stuff, and he's got a lot going for him. And I hope they don't derail that.
And
I
see
really,
what he has that not a lot of wrestlers have nowadays. It's the facial expressions when he's not actually
yes,
wrestling. Like,
yeah.
because he was legitimately pit. Like, you see that photo right
Oh
now,
yeah, yeah,
but
yeah,
the look that he gave Solo,
yeah.
like, what the hell are you doing? I'm about
Yep.
to beat your ass after I got done beating these guys' ass. It
Right,
was just, it's very intense. And I will give him credit, like WWE credit, for back storytelling about how they really played up. Oh, he was in prison for a while. He
yeah.
was in
Yep.
jail. So
Right,
they gave him this credibility that they
right,
don't give anybody else. So
right,
like that look right there in that picture, it
right,
looks like he's about to kill somebody. and
right.
you legitimately think he's about to kill somebody.
Exactly. You know, and that's something you think about when you look at him and everything he does, right? I can't think of a lot of people that could pull off what he does, like his attitude, his presence, and how
Absolutely.
he portrays it. So he's doing a fantastic job. And like I said, man,
Exactly.
I'm willing to bet. I'm willing to bet. I'm a betting man on this one, but I'll tell you what, Chris, I'd be willing to bet WrestleMania he's going to be fighting for the heavyweight championship.
Yeah. Actually, what I would love to see, because they kind of played it out last year, him and
Hmm.
Braun Breaker.
Yeah,
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 like I don't know how well that works because he can work. Braun's still kind of He's
right,
he doesn't. I don't know if he could do a very long match right now in this part of his career, but
right,
I can definitely see that happening eventually. So,
right,
but like going throughout the match. Okay, so he basically squashes LA Knight. LA Knight moves to the back of the line.
right,
Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre. I like Damian Priest. Damian Priest is my guy.
right,
Like
right.
I've known him personally, known him for years now.
Hmm.
I just don't like what they're doing with him. Like
Yeah,
he's stale. Like
yeah,
because I guess I don't know if it's just because he went on with the Judgment Day and that whole crap for too long, and now he's with
right,
somebody that's gone on multiple, but they're not doing anything. They're not saying anything. It's not for any
right.
titles. I don't know what they're doing with it. Apparently, he lost a tooth in that choke slam, um,
Ooh,
and then Drew actually legitimately hurt himself. Um,
wow.
but
Yeah,
it's just like, what do you do? Like, where are you guys going with this? You know?
right. Well, you know, and that's the thing too is so you've seen how Damien's become a little stale, right? I hate, you know, like with McIntyre. To me, I'm like, okay, dude, like he's becoming a little stale too.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It's so I don't know what they're gonna do with this Intercontinental
yeah,
Championship or whatever. I don't know who's next in line. But you know, and then you have to think about who are they gonna have Jacob drop the belt
exactly, exactly,
to make that path up to the
exactly,
heavyweight. You know what I
exactly.
mean?
Because there's nobody there. I mean,
Right.
unless I mean, would you put it on Kofi? I mean, he's got that whole New Day thing. I'm just trying to go down the roster.
You
I
know
mean,
the only way that I think that he loses it is it's gonna have to be, and maybe this kind of sparks the whole thing, is Solo and somebody comes out and gets him to lose. You know what I mean? They
yeah,
interfere and cause him to lose because I don't think there's anybody in there right now in that kind of thing that would you could look at it and be like, yep, this they can beat him. You know what I mean?
exactly. I mean, like I don't know. The, yeah, I really don't know where they're going to go with this at all. I know they're
Right,
probably going to. I have a feeling LA Knight's probably going to have one more feud with him. May probably that's how Mo. Sorry, I got an ice cream truck
Is
driving by
that
me.
is that Samoa Joe from
Yeah, yeah, Sweet Tooth. Yeah,
Sweet Tooth?
yeah,
That's
yeah.
Sweet Tooth.
Uh, I'm scared and I'm also hungry at the same time,
Right.
so I don't know. But yeah, like I said, I don't know whether I mean
Right.
Joe Hendry maybe, but I
Uh,
I mean
yeah,
I mean unless they bring over Moose, but I don't even see. I could see
yeah, I
that,
don't.
but
Uh,
I really can't see anybody in the near future that he's going to lose it to.
right, right.
So
Well, what about this one?
yeah, to be honest with it, I missed this match.
Did
I,
you?
I completely missed it.
Right.
I don't know what I was doing because I when it was
Yeah.
aired,
Right.
I missed the first like half hour
Right.
of it, so I was playing fast
Right.
forward trying to catch
Right.
up with everybody else. But I don't.
So
You're gonna have to let
long
me know.
long story short, El Grande Chad Gable came out,
That's
put
right.
the metal place in the mask, and he headbutted uh,
Penta, right?
Penta and Dominic won. But you know, it's kind of funny. Like Dominic Mysterio to me is kind of like a love hate relationship, right? He's fantastic at what he does of being a bad guy, right?
Yeah, yeah. And they're
So
trying to make him a face, and
right, it just
like the crowd made him a face. They don't.
Right.
WWE still wants him to be a heel. I mean,
Right.
that's right. I'm sorry. I did watch this match. I am so angry at what they're doing with Penna. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
like you've had him lose the last 4 matches that he's been
Right.
on TV. So he
Right.
started off blazing hot,
Right.
and now you're pretty like give him a month and a half, and he's going to be in the
Right.
LWO. I
Right.
guarantee. I'm
Right.
like,
Yeah. And here's the other thing too. You look at things like so make a prediction on this. When are when is this American Grande thing gonna stop? When I mean, like the first couple weeks it was funny, and now you're just kind of like, okay,
because they have nothing to do with Chad Gable.
yeah,
They really like. I thought when he went away because he said the
hmm
black arts.
yeah, yeah,
I thought him and Aleister Black were going to have a thing, but apparently that's not going to happen. Um,
right,
you know what I mean? And it's just like I don't know. So there's the photo. You're looking at the photo right there. You see what's going to happen. So Finn
oh
is
for sure,
basically out, and
sure,
then Dom's going to probably go somewhere. I guess I don't know what they're going to do with him, but
right,
it's Chad Gable. Like they don't know what to do with American Alpha anymore.
right,
You know,
right,
like since the split, I'm like, it's just not like yeah. You got the Creed brothers that are bland as hell.
yeah,
I'm sorry, what is her name that's with them?
Ivy,
Ivy.
Ivy, right,
She
yeah,
has her moments. Like she
yeah,
reminds me of what was her name from Right to Censor?
oh yeah, 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 yeah.
I forget
I
her
know who
name.
you're talking about.
I
Yeah,
forget. She reminds me of her. She could
right,
wrestle. She gives you a glimpse, but she's not a star.
right,
You know what I
right,
mean? Oh
right,
shoot, she was around forever.
yeah. I know who
I
you're talking about.
I forget her name now. But yeah, it's just I don't know where they're going to go with it, and I don't think anybody. I don't think they do either. They're just kind
Right.
of spinning their wheels. You know?
And that's the thing. I think the problem is there's a like okay, so the problem is the Judgment Day thing is still hovering around, right?
Yep. Yep.
They need it needs to be done. Needs to be done. The Judgment Day thing needs to collapse, be done. And just I think that's the problem is with that still being around. It causes problems with all these guys. You know what I mean? What do you do with them? They're still a unit, and then you've got Liv and Roxanne together. They're part of Judgment Day. So I mean, I
Her
don't know.
name was. I'm sorry. Her name was
Yeah,
Ivory. Ivory. Ivory.
Ivory. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm
Ivory. Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
That was her name. I'm sorry. I had to look it up because yeah,
Right, right,
that's who she
right,
was.
right. But that's the thing is I think with this Judgment Day faction still hovering around, it causes hiccups, right? Because they're like, well, what do we do? Like so. I really think the Judgment Day needs to be done fully.
Yeah, like it's already blown its state. It's
Right.
first of all, thanks, Kev. I appreciate that. Um, yeah, that's who I said, Jay. I'm sorry,
Yep. Yep.
but
Yep.
like ever since basically the 2 stars,
Yeah.
Priest
Damian Priest, Rhea.
and Rhea left, they're
Right.
just like, okay, now what do we do with these people? Because they're a bunch of
Right.
basically, the B stars, and I'm like, okay.
Right.
And Finn's going out, so now you got these 4 people, and
Right.
I really don't know what they're going to do with them
Right.
unless they do, they put them with somebody else, which I really hope they don't. I hope they break them up, and
Right. And then you got poor Carlito. All he does is get beat up over all the time.
yeah, yeah. I like. And have you seen him wrestle lately? Like outside of, he's just a mouthpiece, right?
Yeah, he hasn't had. I mean, it's been what, probably 4 or 5 months since you've actually seen him wrestle a match.
Mm-hmm. I
Yeah,
can't
I mean,
remember the last one he
yeah,
was in
yeah,
outside
I
of the
can't
ring.
remember either.
So
Yeah,
I don't. Yeah, like I said, I don't know what they're doing with that. I
right.
am kind of interested in seeing if they actually turn Dom full face.
Yeah,
Um, so because but outside of that, I'm just in general just kind of done with that whole situation.
right, right.
Because Finn bores me.
Yeah, yeah,
And he hasn't done anything for me in like last. Basically, he hasn't done anything for me since he won that title that he had to give up for
Right.
Seth. You know?
Here's something about Finn Balor. Do you think the problem is they haven't used his other persona as much, having him dress up and do that? Because to me, at least when he does that,
Yeah.
it's more exciting, right? It's visually exciting. It seems like it's a whole different wrestler that's in there
When was the
because,
last time you saw that? That was what with Bray
right?
Wyatt, right? Or
I,
has he brought it out since then?
Edge, no, didn't wasn't it him and Edge?
It might have been. It might have been.
I
Uh,
believe something like that. But I mean, you always like the Demon King. Like it always seems like there's more excitement when he's in that.
yeah,
He's dull and boring just as Finn Balor, but
yeah,
when
but
he does
at the
that,
same time, you can't constantly bring out the demon because then that's going to get boring too. You know?
oh, for sure. But I mean, I don't think they've, like it's been so long since he's done that. So I think there's times where you got to be like, hey, this character needs to come back.
Yeah,
Bring him out for this.
yeah, yeah.
Something.
Jay, the reason why they won't push Otis is, in my opinion, is
Yeah,
number one. If he was a foot taller, they would. He's
yeah,
he's a wrecking ball. But at his
yeah.
height, if you put him up, you got Bronson Reed coming back, probably, hopefully soon.
Right.
You got another, so there's your big monster, and he makes Otis look small because Otis is a shorter guy, which kind of
Yeah.
sucks. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I hate to say it because we said this before. I really wish they wouldn't have broke up Heavy Machinery because he was
Yeah.
perfect in that one. So you
Yeah.
break him up to put him in another tag team that's not getting over.
Right. Right.
Um,
Right. Alrighty. Well, moving on.
Never.
Here we go. Lyra and Becky.
This was the P match. Like it, I don't care. I this one did absolutely nothing for me. Nothing.
Right.
I'm like, so let me get this straight. I understand that this is their hot feud, but you have a pay per view that does not have either one of your women's top champions on it.
Right.
So like, I get this. This is your storyline, and
Right.
Becky is your second biggest star in the company. This is
Right.
this should have been on like Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
This isn't a pay per view match.
Right.
This is another reason why this pay per view was terrible.
Right.
So
You know, I like Lyra. I think Lyra is really good. Um, Myself personally, I'm just kind of Becky Lynched out.
yeah,
Um, I think certain things I think people do, they hold on to things for too long and it gets old and stale. Like, I don't know about you, but I'm tired of hearing her say she's the man.
yeah.
Um,
Are you
you
gonna get
know,
punched in the face again, and bleed again? Then I'll take you more seriously.
right, so you're like, but I guess in the whole grand scheme of things with her turning how she did, I mean, it allows herself to now be part of whatever faction Seth is because they're probably going to need a female in the faction and it just makes it more easy and acceptable that way.
So somebody, going back to Lyra, somebody had posted something on social media like 2 weeks ago. When she comes out with her bird wings, it
Yeah.
looks like the gang from It's Always Sunny when they became professional wrestlers, and
Yeah,
now
yeah.
I can't unsee it.
Right.
And I'm
Yeah.
like you guys have a budget for costumes.
Well, but
You, you
you,
can
you
do
know what
something.
that is. That's WWE saying, well, you know what? It'll catch on and then we can sell bird wings to people at the
Exactly,
lives.
exactly.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah, and like we said this last week, like I personally hate Becky Lynch's face character
Yeah.
that she has going on. She
Yeah.
wants to be liked, but she wants to be a bad guy, and
Yeah.
it's not working for her. And
No.
everybody, and it seems like this is what I'm reading, that nobody, first of all, nobody is taking her seriously as a heel,
Right.
and that's really killing everything, the
Right.
momentum that she has. So,
Right. This may seem kind of just off on a tangent, but if you take Becky Lynch,
uh,
let's take Becky Lynch, let's take Charlotte Flair, let's take Bailey. Um, all three of those girls, the only one that you look at and say, "Yep, she can still do it," is Bailey.
Yeah, and they're not using her at all.
No,
At all.
and the problem is, you look at Charlotte Flair, and look at Becky Lynch. If you look at her now, does she not look anemic to you? Like
Oh yeah,
she,
yeah. She
like
she she like I'm not trying to
right?
badmouth anybody on the
No, no, no.
looks, but
Right,
she doesn't look like she looks like there's something going on behind the scenes. Like
right,
she's trying to slim down. Good for her,
right,
great. But
right, right.
it's just like there was something before and after the baby. Like I get
Yeah,
that it changes
right,
your body that it's
right,
just not suiting her very well, and I
right,
can't put my finger on it.
right, right. It's crazy how the old stable of ladies. I mean, and the other one you can include in there. Um, Look at Mercedes Monet.
Oh, she just recently lost one of her belts, by the way.
So,
It
so
was at
here's
New Japan, right?
so here's my thing with her. Tell me when you look at how they have her in AEW with all these belts, you're like, this is ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
Like this is just it's stupid because it's totally non-believable. Nobody cares. I mean, when they've got to line her up with that many belts to make her seem like she's relevant,
Oh yeah.
it's not.
And trust me, we will be talking about more about AEW when they actually do something that's worth a damn,
Right,
or
right,
when Darby Allin ever comes off that mountain.
right,
So
right,
don't get us wrong. It's just not WWE.
right,
We will be
right.
you know branching out, but it was pretty funny watching that meltdown that Monet had after she lost that belt. I
Yeah,
laughed because it was funny.
right,
Like she legitimately had a tantrum like a little
right,
kid, and it was hilarious.
right. The other one that I thought was kind of funny in a way too is how Charlotte reacted
Mm.
Friday night. She came out, did her thing, but I mean, you caught it. You saw what they did. Once again, Jade and her had the
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I'm pretty sure they're setting it up because Charlotte's going to be passing the torch to Jade.
yeah. And I have a feeling this feud might actually go to SummerSlam
I
because
think so too.
since it is 2 nights, they need more big names.
Right,
I can see
right.
that unless they do something with Jade. Oh, not Jade. Naomi again with Jade. She comes out.
See, I hope not because you know what? Like, it's been done. Like, they need to start. So, if they're going to do the big push for Jade, they got to keep momentum going.
Yeah, yeah.
And
She has to dominate. Like she has
right,
to come out and flat out dominate. Like and show that she is supposed to be there. Like
right,
take for example on Friday, Nia did fantastic.
right, right,
It's the very few times that you'll ever hear Nia put a like getting somebody really over like that.
right,
It's
right,
usually the opposite way. But
right.
she made her look super strong when she
She did.
launched her off the top. That was, like I said, that was the highlight of the match for me.
Right.
But it was just, I will say, she's going kind of crazy with the super kicks. She does have
Yeah.
to. I mean, so,
Right.
but
Right.
I think she did like 6 in that match, and I'm like,
Right.
that's enough.
Right.
I'm tired of you
Yeah.
slapping your thigh. It's fine.
What had like in the last 4 years? What is it? But like, remember back in the day, like the only guy that did it was Shawn Michaels, right? And it was
Oh,
a super kick and
but
boom, right?
blame the Young Bucks for that and their super kick party.
Sure. Sure.
They killed that move. That's who
Right.
it was. It was
Right.
them. Blame them.
Right. And the problem now is that like the super kick used to be a finishing move, right?
It's just like the DDT.
And now it is let's do it 10, 15 times in a match. It's super kick, super kick, super kick, and you're like, I don't
It's a move to get to other moves.
right, right. And it's like, man, I didn't know we were watching a kickboxing match, right? With all these super kicks.
Yep.
But I mean, you know, I guess, people must enjoy it because they keep
Yeah,
doing it.
yeah. Like I said, the Young Bucks when they were in New Japan, they used to have their super kick parties.
Right,
They when you do 17 of them in a row and nobody falls on the ground, you
right,
kind of lose. Because like I said, that happened with Jake the Snake and his DDT. That used to be one of the most feared moves in all of wrestling in the 80s and 90s,
right,
and now
right,
it's just a move to get to other moves. I'm like,
right,
you just got dropped on your head. how are you like not selling any of this? You know?
Right, right.
Yeah. So
Well,
that, yeah.
I gotta tell you what, one of the better matches I thought. So one of them, we'll talk about right now.
Yes.
The Gunter Pat McAfee match, and
Yeah. Yeah. Like
yeah,
it. Yeah. Like for what it was, and the sad thing is, it was probably the top match of the night. I hate to say
yeah,
it, but
yeah.
it was, and I really think Gunther choked out McAfee because he turned purple.
Right,
Like, you can't fake turning purple in the
no,
ring.
right,
So
right.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I think it was pretty cool because I think it did give some legitimacy to Pat McAfee
yeah,
because he took a lot of stuff, and he did a lot of stuff.
and he loved that one move.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. But I mean, when you look at it, you got a guy who's a football player, right?
Yeah,
And he did really well. I think what was that? Was that his eighth match ever?
I think so. 8, 10, something like that. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
he has really good trainers. That's the thing. Like,
yeah.
I
Right,
mean, I could have done without him taking off the football jersey. So when you're standing in the ring with Gunther, who's now
sure,
shredded to the moon, and you
sure.
still kind of have a dad bod going on.
Right.
Okay, I get it. I
Though
get it.
I think that's kind of the appeal though with him is that he's an announcer. He's kind of like, so we're not going to say he's like the average guy, right? But it kind of brings that blue collar thing in,
Yep.
right? Like you look at Pat because he connects so well with the crowd and he's always doing cool stuff,
And
So with him doing that, I just think it connects more because you're like, look, this guy is not some shredded superstar.
yep,
He's a guy, just trying to fight and defend his friend and do that. So,
exactly.
but I thought it was a cool match. It was kind of funny though because we had heard rumors about this match, what was maybe going to happen, and I thought with Gunter not pinning him, right, keep giving him more punishment, more punishment. I'm like, oh gosh, here it is because Goldberg doesn't like bullies, and here he goes, he's getting bullied, and out comes Goldberg because everybody was saying that Goldberg was going to come out and he's next in line to fight Gunter. He wants to retire, want one more match, and I'm like, so I'm just waiting the whole time for Goldberg's music to go off.
I I think they might be doing a 2-on-1 match with him and Michael Cole versus Gunther, which
Really?
I'm kind of like I would like to see it just because Michael Cole dressed up as a wrestler
Yeah,
is
yeah.
always funny.
Yes, it
But
is.
I'm like I don't know how much more how the legs on this whole situation. I don't know.
Right.
Once you get choked out, where do you go from there?
Right, right. You know, Gunter did show some class at the end of the match, though. Too. He did tip the hat. You know, boom. So to me, that kind of signals like maybe that's the end of it. You know what I mean? That there might
Yeah,
not be some more, but
yeah, but like I said, I don't know what number one what they're gonna do with Gunther after this because
right,
yeah, that's where are you going with the story? Like, okay, you
right,
just beat him, you're gonna have him continue to fight, but
right.
overall, this match for what it was and what it was
Yeah,
on this card,
right,
Gunther got the most out of Pat McAfee, and McAfee did the most that he could do.
right.
And I personally, I I see what they did with Michael Cole. I would have believed him more if it was with Wade Barrett instead.
Yeah, yeah.
But I get it. Like you can't pick on the announcers. I
Oh,
get it.
right. Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Right.
like it's just I don't know. It was very very strange. So
Yeah, yeah. It was kind of a strange thing.
yeah,
Well, then the last thing we got on there is our main event. Our main event of the night.
this this was excuse my language. This was a shit show. Like
Yeah.
it made no sense.
Yep.
Like okay, so Michael Cole said we can't say at one point after the multiple ref bumps and the multiple interferences. Michael Cole said, "We can't send out any more referees because we don't have any more."
Right.
So I'm like, so you're telling me all the people in the back, there's only 2 referees in this whole building? I'm like, remember, like back in the day, they would do like 3 and
Yeah,
4, and then
tons of
like everybody and their mother would come running down in the referee
right,
shirt, and
right,
then
right,
like, okay, so instead of sending more referees down, you send the office down.
right,
Like I didn't, it just didn't make sense. Like,
right,
and it was just like because Randy Orton had him beat at least twice, if not 3 times,
right,
and it's just it also seemed like there was supposed to be somebody else. Like
right,
I think Travis Scott was supposed to be. It seemed like he
right,
was supposed to be there, but
right,
apparently he was over in Europe, so he couldn't be there. And
right,
it just like it was rushed. It it was slow to begin with, at the beginning
right,
with all the headlocks. It
right,
just it did not work, and I don't know why this was a pay per view main event.
right.
It like I don't know. It did not work at all. At
I
all.
think I think the problem going forward with all these John Cena matches is going to be that not taking anything away from him, right? But if you look at him now and the John Cena in his prime, right?
Uh-huh.
He has got to be probably what 50, 60 pounds lighter.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely.
You can tell he doesn't move as well. The only way that you can ever believe he's going to beat any of these guys is some sort of outside interference or cheating or something. This guy is not going to win anything the right way anymore. So you're kind of set up when these matches come. You're like, okay, who's going to interfere? How's he going to cheat? And how's it going to go? You know what I
Exactly,
mean?
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it just it like I said it was like I said it was forced. It was rushed,
Right. Right.
and that match could have been so much more than what it was.
Right.
Because Randy Orton can still go.
Yeah.
John Cena's in his late 40s,
Right.
and he was, he did his whole trying to do the whole 5 moves of death or whatever you want to call it,
Right.
and it there's just something about it, and I've said this before. There's something
Right.
about him in this heel run. It just doesn't do for him. Like it just
Right.
because he talks a little bit slower doesn't makes him a bad guy. I mean,
Right.
it's just he moves a little bit slower. I don't know if it's intentional, but
If you notice too, they're trying to make him out so like you've noticed because they made a couple comments like, he's just in front. He's been in front of Orton this whole time in this whole match. Like he's moves ahead of him, right? So they're trying to like portray like he's got all this experience. And now he's a bad guy, and now he's really being calculating on what
yeah,
he's doing, right?
yeah,
And because this, I mean, they were said it, and you know this. In a slow match, that's Randy Orton's style
oh,
because he's going to
100%.
beat you down. And Cena shouldn't have been able to do a lot of the stuff that
And
he should have been able to done at that pace.
and Orton didn't get basically any really flow going at all because the minute he started doing something stupid
Right,
would happen or there was another ref
right,
bump, and I'm like, it's just
right.
like I said, I did not like this match, and a
Yeah,
lot of people didn't like this.
no,
A lot of people,
right,
especially in the arena, didn't like this match.
right,
Just in general, it
right,
was it. If I was to rate this card was like a C minus. It had a couple good spots, had
right,
like 1.5 good matches, and then the rest of it was garbage.
right, right. And the weird part about our truth coming out,
Hmm. Oh
I mean,
yeah,
I would have never guessed that
yeah,
happening. Our
like
truth
that.
coming out, and
That I don't know why. Like it,
yeah,
like what, uh, like I said, it was as confusing as having the Office come out. Like what?
right,
Why? What? Or is he going to play into the story? Is he going to now think he's John
right,
Cena? Like, is he part of the Rock's crew now? What is going on? Like, it made
right,
no sense.
right,
Like, it wasn't funny.
right,
It's just like if they set up for him and for him to take the title off of Cena.
Right.
I could see it, but it didn't make any sense to me. I'm watching it, and
Right.
I'm like sitting there, and I'm like, this is the dumbest thing I've seen in quite some time. Like this is
Well,
like Snitsky kicking a
right.
baby dome, and I'm like,
Right.
I
Right.
just I almost had to turn the pay per view off afterwards. It's just,
And then you saw at the end of the match,
Mhm.
so it cuts off, then the show starts, the after show starts,
Yeah.
and Cena's doing this whole like, did it not seem weird to you watching him after the match when he's still kind of in the ring and he's
Yeah.
trying to do this like weird thing and he's like, I don't know, it just seemed really strange to me what he was doing.
It seemed like he didn't want to win that way, so it
Yeah,
sounds like he was trying to turn face again, and it
weird,
just
right?
very weird. And
Right.
then you went to the press conference
Right.
afterward, and then it got even weirder.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yep.
are you really that mad that somebody says something to you one time that you're just gonna not take anything from anybody anymore? It
Right. Right.
it, it just really confused me. That's all. Like
So the only thing I could gather from it was that the prediction I made last week with you was that it would be absolutely hilarious if R-Truth becomes the savior of WWE and he wins the championship on accident,
oh
not
yeah,
knowing that he's even fighting for it, and he wins it. Something strange happens and he pins John Cena, right place, right time, whatever, I don't know, but if he became the savior.
I was gonna say, isn't when's Money in the Bank?
That's coming up, isn't it? Money in the
Yeah,
Bank's coming up.
so he wins Money in the Bank because
Yeah.
they announced. It seems like they announced Cena's last match, and it's supposed to be in
Okay.
Boston in December, from
Okay.
what I could tell.
Sure.
And so, okay, so you win you win Money in the Bank, and then
Right.
he ends up beating them somehow.
Right.
Interesting. That could be. It could be like something like, yeah. I'm not trying to fantasy book, but
Right.
I don't exactly know where they're going with this. And if he does win it,
Right.
it,
Right.
it kind of diminishes what they're trying to do. Like,
Well, well, here's the problem now you kind of look at it. So he's got the belt, right? Um, I really don't think it's going to be a big build up for Cody to come back and take the belt.
no,
I really don't. I don't see it. I think they gave Cody a run. I think he did pretty good, but at the same time, I think people are like, well, it's getting a little old, right?
yeah.
Not taking anything away from Cody. I like him, but in my eyes, like I'll ask you this. Do you look at Cody like he's a guy that should be the heavyweight champion or the intercontinental champion?
Um, Overall, the Intercontinental Champion,
Right.
but like that, like I I understand where they wanted to go with it.
Sure.
I
Sure.
100% finished the story. I get
Right.
that.
Right.
But then what do you do afterwards? What do you do with him afterwards? He loses the belt.
Right.
Okay, then what? Like
Right.
it made, like I said, it made sense for him to win the belt,
Right.
but it's just like after a while his stuff got stale. Like, okay,
Right.
what do you want to talk about? Okay.
Right.
But it's
Well,
just I don't know where they want to go with it
right.
either.
I think the whole problem is like nobody knows where it's going. So, okay, so now you've got John Cena. He's the corporate champion, right? So, what is The Rock doing now with this? Is The Rock still involved, or is he kind of like out?
Yeah,
Um,
from what it seems like he's out. He's done with this whole. He washes his hands with everything. Unless they're trying to work us all.
but you see what I'm saying? So now you've got John Cena, who's now this heel.
Yep.
Does he have backup? Does he not have backup? Who are they going to build up
Yep.
to fight him now? So I mean, he's got to have matches between now and December because
Yeah.
obviously he's going
Yeah.
to lose in December, right?
Yeah.
Who do they have to have matches with this guy?
No, nobody, because you got. I'm just trying to think. Heavyweight, unless you bring Gunther back, which you could. Um,
I mean, you could, but
you did Randy Orton. I mean,
yeah,
there's not a lot that's out there for that whole situation. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head.
Because you've got everybody kind of tied up on Monday night, right? Because you've
Yeah.
got Roman on Monday now with
Yep.
Seth. You got
Yep.
CM Punk, all them.
Yep.
So who is on SmackDown that you send after him?
It's
Or
nobody really. Like,
yeah,
and you would have to start that storyline very soon
right,
because
right,
you got what 7 months until December. I mean,
right.
like you would have to, and you can't go with CM Punk or Roman Reigns because
Nope.
they're in a storyline with Seth
Right,
Rollins already. So I'm like,
right,
okay, now what? Now who do you have?
right.
Are you gonna bring somebody up for NXT? Is Obi coming up? Like I could see that, but he's not ready yet.
Right. Yeah, he's not ready. And you'd almost kind of think that, I mean, the farewell for a guy like him is to make somebody move them up, right?
Yeah,
That's most, that would be like, hey, who am I going to drop it to that needs to get that solidity to make them? And you look at the roster, you're like, I don't know who that could be because there's
there's
really,
nobody there. That's the thing.
right,
Like right now, if you look at the roster and how it's built, and it's been like this for a while, where you only got like the four big names and then a bunch of mid to lower card people, a
right,
bunch. And I
right,
understand not everybody can be the top tier, and
right,
you have to have the people below them,
sure,
but
sure,
you're not developing anybody to take over one of those spots. You
right.
don't have anybody that you can put back in there. What Finn? I don't. It
Nope.
wouldn't make sense. I mean, there's not a lot of people who's injured that's coming back sometime soon.
Right.
I can't think of anybody.
And I know there's no possibility, but like it's a perfect job for Brock.
Mm. Yeah,
Come
but
out.
I would say yes, but unfortunately, I don't know if he's still
Right.
on that blacklist or not
Right.
with the
I mean,
whole
a lot
lawsuit.
of things can change between now and there, but here's the thing too. You get a guy like Brock Lesnar, right? There really doesn't have to be a storyline.
Oh yeah, he
You know,
shows up, wrecks stuff, goes
he
home.
shows up and how many when him and Cena fought, how many times he take him to Suplex City that one match? Wasn't it like 20 something
Oh,
times?
it was like 15, I think it was, or
Dude, I
something
mean, it was just
ridiculous.
boom, boom. I
Yeah,
mean, there was no offense from Cena, right? So
no,
you imagine you bring Brock out and he takes him to Suplex City like 25 more times, boom, 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 done. And then, but then you're kind of like stuck in the same situation,
yeah,
right?
like
Who
this is
who takes Brock out?
yeah. So you have like once you get past this whole, you have Seth who can do it. So once they get past this whole situation,
Right.
there's probably going to be your next champ. CM Punk could do it. Roman could do it.
Mhm.
We saw Roman do it,
Right.
but it's just I know they do long term storytelling, but
Right.
they haven't done anything here.
Right.
So excuse me. So I have no idea where they're going to go with this. Not a clue.
Right.
Unless you know Hard Truth does win it, and then later on they unify the belt with a match between him and Jay, and then Jay wins it or some ridiculous story like
Right.
that. I don't know.
The only problem with that is I kind of like it better when each night has their own belt.
I
You
get
know,
it.
you
Um,
know, um, I don't know. To me, it just adds more like because when you had it where it was one belt and it was kind of like okay, it didn't seem like the competition was that exciting.
yeah, yeah,
But when you
I get
got
it.
each one has their own belt, and you know what, I like it when they've had, because when Cody and Gunter fought, and it
Yeah.
was for the one from Riyadh, that the crown jewel
Oh
belt.
yeah, yeah,
That was kind of cool and kind of fun, but it didn't affect the belts themselves.
yeah,
I thought that was pretty cool, but I think they made a smart move when they're like, okay, there's no more unified title. It's, each one has its own.
yeah.
But yeah, but who knows? Who knows what they're going to do with this? It's
It's just hopefully the pay per views get better than this. This is
right.
I feel I saw something. They had a watch party for this pay per view at Bush Stadium where the Cardinals play
Oh,
in St. Louis.
okay.
It was between $300 and $400 a seat to
What?
watch this in an outdoor stadium. And I'm like, why am I paying that much for a watch along party
Yeah.
and especially for this crap? I would be so
Right.
furious if I shelled out that much money and they gave you this. It's,
Right.
ugh, it's terrible. I don't know what they're doing.
Right.
I understand not every match and every show can be bangers. You
Right.
got to have some downtime, but you can't have a whole
Show.
pay per view just garbage. It just
Right.
no.
Right. Well, anybody in the crowd in the chat room, what are you predicting? What do you think's going to happen?
Yeah.
Uh, who do you think is going to be the one that defeats John Cena to save the company? Who do you think it's going to be? You know. Um, but yeah, I agree with you 100%. I was not impressed by this pay per view.
No,
You know.
absolutely not. It was trash.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm just sad that I was staying up that late to watch it. I know it's not late, but I worked yesterday, so by the time I got home, and I'm
Right.
old, well, I fell asleep a couple times, caught myself, dozing off. It was just
Right. Now,
garbage.
now, now, here's a question to you too. Do you think we're going to be seeing Cena on all the pay per views from here out to
Yeah,
December? Or we think you're going to see him wrestle on every one of them?
I mean, yeah, because he still has like what 20 dates left.
Oh yeah, something like
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So
Maybe
I
even more.
mean, like, yeah. So he's not going to be on every show, but he's going to be on
Yeah,
every pay per view,
right,
just to fulfill it. Because if he doesn't, yeah, because I mean, if not, you're going to go through all of his dates, and then by October, he's going to be out.
right,
So
right. Yeah, it'll just be interesting to see who they start bringing up to have feuds with him because I just don't know who it'll be.
yeah, exactly. Like I said, Jay's right. I would love to see a CM Punk run. I would love to see that,
Sure.
but yeah, like I said, they have a very very short window to get everything rolling, and
Right.
it's going to be interesting
Right.
to see where they go with everything. So
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, I don't know. It'll be interesting, you know. But on another note, we talked, you mentioned CM Punk, you mentioned those guys. What's going on with that feud? So where where does CM Punk now fit in? Where does Roman Reigns fit in now? Like where's that? Where do you think the
it,
direction of that's gonna
it
go?
it's gonna be there's gonna be a tag team match between what Cena and I can't talk now. Cena and Roman versus Seth and Braun. There's gonna be a tag team match. It's already
Right.
set up. But just don't. I don't know if it's gonna be a Saturday night main event or the next pay per view or whatever. But I have a feeling, and it's probably a wrong feeling, but I have a feeling um, that Heyman's going to turn again,
Mm,
and he's going to go back with Punk. Like once he gets this whole stable actually legitimately established, he's going to
right.
turn again. Like I might be wrong. I might be just talking out of my butt, but that's how I feel.
Right.
Um,
Right. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. You see now too, I think there's a really big push to have Roman be that big face,
yeah,
that big
yeah,
baby face.
yep.
Um, so it's kind of hard now because you got those three, right? I mean, I know it won't happen. I wish it would happen, but I would love to see Ambrose get out of AEW, come back, and have like a Shield reunion.
Yeah, but he
But
can't
I know it's not going to happen.
since he can't bleed on TV. It's never going to happen.
Right,
I'm like,
right,
oh, I can't have my own match. Oh no! I'm like, I
right,
can't take a fork to the forehead. I'm like, no, it's I mean, he is. I hate to say it. Moxley is this generation's Abdullah the Butcher.
yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah,
what he's broke down to. Because
right,
I'm gonna go on a little rant here. I'm
uh
sorry.
huh,
The Death Riders are absolute garbage.
hmm,
Nobody cares. They two or three of the four guys in that group look great, and then you have a guy that looks like he's homeless.
yeah,
Uda or
yeah, yeah,
Yuta.
right,
They're not getting over. This is why AEW is terrible. and you have a title that's never on TV and you never see
Right.
it. There you go. And John Cena, or not John Cena, John Moxley,
Right.
absolutely garbage wrestler.
Right.
And I don't ever want to be honest with you, he could go away and I would be perfectly happy.
Right.
If I ever
I
watch the next match I see of his, it will be too soon.
right. I think though there would be an opportunity, like if the timing was right and the situation was right, having a Shield reunion,
I get it.
it would be kind of cool to have
Yeah, like
him and Roman fight against Seth,
yeah, I can see
right?
it.
You know,
I can see it. Yeah,
because yeah, but I mean, it's funny because every time we bring up AEW, right? The only thing I think AEW has going for it is their women's division,
oh yeah, 100%.
and that's it.
Yeah,
Um,
and because there's no storytelling, it's just a bunch of guys
no,
doing a bunch of stuff, and it's just like they would rather do the spots that get the holy shit moments opposed to
right,
actually being able to tell a story.
right,
There's a time and place for the holy shit or this is awesome. It's
right,
great. That can't be your whole show. Like
right,
that's the
right.
issue. So
Yeah, it's you know, you know who they need to bring, and I mention this every week is I think that maybe if Heyman turns and
oh,
goes to CM Punk, Roman Reigns needs a mouthpiece, right? I think it would be perfect for the realest one, Enzo, to
uh,
be that mouthpiece, man.
I I would you know what I would actually love to see and it would never happen.
Mhm.
I would love to see Jim Cornette come out of retirement.
Yeah, yeah,
It would
yeah.
never happen. He no, it
Does
would never.
tennis bracket too?
100%.
Pow,
It
yeah,
would it
yeah,
would never ever happen.
right.
I'm a big Jim Cornette guy, but it will never happen.
No, no,
That's just my personal. That's what I would
right,
hope.
right. Speaking of the realest one, I don't know if people in the chat room have checked him out. He's on Instagram, but I am so amazed on how that guy talks.
Yep.
It is like the most insane. Like you watch him, and I think I think he's a one take dude too. I don't think he
Yeah.
has. He just brrr, like that, and
Yeah.
you're like, I don't even know where he
Exactly.
comes up with this stuff, and he just
Exactly.
spits it
I
out
mean,
like it just flows.
not everything hits because there are some stuff that he's been
Sure,
saying lately. It's just been I'm like, what the hell are you
sure,
talking about? But yeah, no, I get it. He's probably the best mouthpiece on the mic in the industry right now.
right,
But it's just I don't see him ever coming back,
yeah.
unfortunately.
You know, I think he probably the biggest problem with him is I think he's generated so much heat from everybody. I kind of get his shtick, how he's trying to be, this and that, but at some point you can only piss off so many people
Exactly.
and you're not going to work, and it's a shame because the guy's got talent, right?
Yeah,
He
exactly.
truly does have talent, and it would be awesome to see him on a big show again.
Yep.
But yeah, he's made some comments. I mean, I watched a couple of his promo cuts and I was like, "Oh my god, he went there." Like I
Yeah.
can't believe he went
It
there.
it's hilarious. It very much so. But I really don't know anymore. Like I don't
Right.
know. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of people that are on his mic level in
Yeah.
general or
Right.
nowadays, and
Right.
that can stay at it at a constant rate. But
Right. You know, I kept thinking that one of his promos because he kept throwing shade on it, right? Because if you notice a lot of them, he always brings up that he was Dusty Rhodes' number one student.
yeah, yeah,
And he really likes to really drop that and a lot. And I'm like, is he trying to catch heat with Cody to draw in, or is he
I,
trying to, like, is he trying to piss off enough people for them to say, bring this guy up here so I can
yeah.
smack him down?
The thing is, like, I don't. Yeah, like I said, he's never gonna sign. I can see him sign with like maybe ROH or
Right.
that wouldn't be ROH. It'd be I can see him signing with TNA. That'd be great,
TNA. Yeah.
great place for him. But I
Right.
don't see him back in the
Right.
Federation or the EE anymore anytime soon.
Right. Right. Yeah, yeah, totally crazy though.
Yeah.
But funny though, if you guys have not caught his reels, his videos,
Check them out.
yeah,
They're
check them
hilarious.
out. They are
He's
hilarious,
just in
man.
the parking lot dancing like a
Yeah.
madman. So,
Yep. Yep. So let me ask you this, Chris.
yes,
Who
sir.
do you think right now? Who are some of the big mover and shakers in SmackDown and Raw? Who do you see like that are just on fire,
Yeah.
taking off?
Jacob Fatu.
Right.
It's going to be the same people that we mentioned every show, basically. Jacob Fatu. Um, I kind of want to see, like, I don't know. Jade, she's taking off right now. Um, I want to see what they do with the Io Sky.
Right.
I don't. The issue with with Io Sky is she's great in the ring, but she's terrible on the mic because of
Yeah.
her broken English, and it's really
Right.
broken. Um,
Right.
but I also want to see what they do with Aleister Black. I don't want. I hope they
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
bury him. I also want to see what they do with Rusev. I can see them burying him in like a
Yeah.
month.
Right.
But that's really about it. Like, there's nothing.
Right.
Like, there's nothing out there right now that's really.
Right.
Oh my god, I have to watch that.
Right. You know, Alistair Black is very enjoying to watch, right?
Yeah.
He's so unique, and I like some of the things he does, like when he'll do something and then he'll just sit down,
Oh yeah,
right?
dude. Like, what is
And
it?
you're like,
Friday. He hit a black
yeah,
sail on the Miz, and he
yeah,
didn't take his eyes off of Carmelo. And I'm like,
right.
that's impressive. Because
Yes,
first of
it
all, getting
is.
your leg up that high,
Right.
kudos. Um,
Like,
but it's just I won't. I have a feeling it's going to be him and Carmelo coming up soon, and that
yeah,
actually might be a match. Like,
right.
I would actually like to see that because
You
they're
know,
not doing much with Carmelo.
yeah. Speaking of Carmelo, you watch NXT, right?
Mhm.
And you see how Trick Williams now is kind of going the Carmelo path. Like at the end of Carmelo in NXT, he turned heel, right?
Yep.
And you see that with Trick, right?
Yep.
And I'm wondering if that's all part of the plan because they're going to bring Trick up, and I think Trick and Carmelo are going to reunite.
Shootings, you bring him up, and then what are you going to do with him? Like, where you get, you're going to bring him up, and then he's just going to
Right,
flounder, and
right,
that's the issue. Like, they have too much talent and not
right,
enough shows. So
right. Well, I mean, to be fair, they brought Carmelo up. He hit off for like a month, and then it was like, okay, now you're,
yeah,
and they
yeah,
just kind
yeah.
of, yeah,
So,
yeah.
but
But I mean, the other problem though too is if you keep Trick in NXT, right?
mhm.
He's kind of like been there, done that. What do you do with him? You
Exactly,
know.
exactly.
So do you move him up and make him the fresh meat, or do you keep him? I
Yeah,
mean,
I don't really have an answer for you because I see Obi coming up.
yeah,
I think that's
yeah,
his name. I can see him
right,
coming up, but then
yeah,
what do you do with him? Because now you got another monster on your hands.
right,
Like, and I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do with him, but I could see him being called up before I see Trick getting called up, just because he's
yeah,
a monster.
yeah, right, right. But that's a legitimate thing is because before the problem was they didn't have this resource of the farm, right?
Yeah,
Everybody's getting good. So they were kind of like having to be like, okay, let me see if I can't steal this guy from this division or this division, right?
yeah.
Now you're making all these superstars, but
Now the
what do you
farm is
do?
in full effect, and you don't have
Yeah,
anything. You don't have anywhere to put your corn. Now I completely get it.
right.
So,
And I'll tell you what, I wouldn't be surprised if by next year they start adding even more 2-day pay-per-views.
yeah. Oh, I think
Because
every one of them is going to be a 2 day because they can get the money out of it. So,
right, because you've got so much talent
yep.
and you've got you can make matches. It's not an issue of not being able to make matches. It's just the problem is TV time during the week, right?
What are you going to do? So,
Right. And plus I mean, how many did they get rid of last week? Didn't it wasn't there like 20 something people that they got rid of?
that was like 15, maybe.
Yeah, something like
But
that.
yeah, some of the names I was surprised about, but I mean, I
Right.
guess it was budget cuts that, and like,
Right.
people don't understand that this is still a business, and
Right.
I mean, if you don't have anything, if you're not going to people, if it's not going to bring money in, then they're
Right.
not going to be kept. So
Right. Right. So you know what we got to talk about is the most up and coming, most badass tag team ever.
oh yeah. Yeah.
the, the Legion of Beards.
Oh, what a
What a
beard!
beard.
Yeah.
Yep. That would have been crazy, Chris, back in the day when I was healthy and you were younger and I was both younger. If we would have met, we could have been this tag team, I think.
Yeah, we probably had about as many brain cells between us as they do.
I mean, to be young and dumb, right?
Oh, dude, I'm just dumb now. I'm old and dumb. But
Right, right.
uh, you know what? Not now. Now I'm gonna have to go down the rabbit hole and start making more artwork like that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You're gonna okay. I'm gonna have some new stuff for next week.
There
Like,
we go.
yeah,
There we go.
like what I sent you earlier. Yeah,
Right,
I
right.
sent Dino this big long picture of me and him like fighting in a ring, and I wrote this. I had AI write this big long promo between the two, basically talking about wrestling, beards, and BS. It was
Right.
fun. It was funny. I laughed, and I'm like, all right, now I got to figure out how to get two voices to do this. You know?
So since we got to talk about beards for a minute because we're both bearded guys, um, all I got to say is this one right here, original tribal chief. This one right here is an absolute banger. I got this in, and I'm gonna tell you what, man. All day long, I've been getting compliments on this one. For those of you that are watching, if you have not looked at this one is awesome. And Chris, I know you said this was a little bit out of your wheelhouse when you
Yeah,
made it.
yeah.
Um, you want to give us the set profile, the rundown
Uh,
on this one?
yeah, give me 1 second. I'm sorry. Like I got
No
so many
problem.
profiles
So,
and products. Like I can't remember them all. Um,
if you want, I can read it off for you. It's
yeah,
on the bottom.
give me 1 second. I'm actually
Yeah.
pulling it up
Hmm.
right now. So give me
Hmm.
one moment. All
Hmm.
right. Yeah, great live error, right? Yeah, it is. It's tropical fruits. It has a nice, clean green scent to it. Wow, I didn't even click on the right thing. I am. My, I have like the basic one and not what I actually need. Yeah, go
Right.
ahead. I'm sorry. I am
So
so.
so we got citrus, lemon, lime, grapefruit, bourbon, raspberry, uh, greeny, and driftwood.
Yeah. So
This
yeah,
one.
it's very tropical. OTC.
Right.
I when I made it because it was part of the WrestleMania pack from last month, which
Right.
is still available. ElegantSasquatchCode.etsy.com. This will be available probably coming within the next month. Right now, this is
Nice.
the 101. Um, but yeah, it's part of the 4 pack. You can buy them single. I still have a couple left.
Right.
So yeah, it's very tropical, very out of my wheelhouse. But
Right.
it's gonna be on the main roster for a while. I don't see that one going away anytime soon. So
And something I didn't know that you do now, and I'm going to place my order here probably after the show or tomorrow, that you can get your beard wash scented.
yes, yeah,
Yeah, so
yep.
I am definitely going to OTC up.
I have to add that one to the variation. When you
Right.
go to that particular listing, um,
Right.
underneath it where it'll say variation or style, I guess it
Right.
is.
Right.
You'll click it, and there's like I think 7, 10 different options. So basically,
Nice.
on my beard wash, which I restocked on, you can get it in almost any scent that I have right now. Um,
Right.
or if you
That's
don't see
awesome.
something, shoot me a message. I can probably get it into you, get it into the
Right.
product without a problem. So
Right. So I'd like to say, I think we're probably going to try to get some guests on here.
yes, yep,
Um, I got two I'm thinking about. probably going to see about getting 30 Spray J on here.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
And going to see about Dan from Bearded Death. But guys, if any of you want to be on this show,
Shoot us
let
know.
us know. We're looking for guests. Come on, let's talk about wrestling.
Yep.
We'll talk about wrestling. We'll talk about all this awesome stuff.
Wrestling,
But,
beards, BS. Yeah.
right. But we 30 Spray says, "Wow, didn't tell me about that. Geez, what a guy." we like to surprise people. We like
You
to
know what?
surprise
Hey,
everybody.
it was such a surprise. I didn't even know about it.
Right. So, but yeah, if any of you want to get on the show, send myself or Chris a
Yep.
message on
Y'all know how to get a
Facebook.
hold of us.
Yeah, let us know. We'll get you on, and we may have one or two guests at a time. We can have a couple guests, and we'll have a round robin of wrestling talk.
Well, that will go for like 6 hours.
Right.
We're always looking for the third party for NWO or
Heck yeah.
PWO or
it's got to be the TSO, the Tactical Santa Order.
Yeah.
And, I did make you one of the commanders of Elf Team 6, Chris.
You did. I'm the muscle.
Yep.
You're the mouth and I'm the muscle. It's fine.
Well, I've got you and Bearded Chief. So you and Bearded Chief are the muscle.
See, I got to bow down. He has a bigger beard. I got to bow down to both of y'all. Y'all got the bigger beards. That's beard law. That's what it is.
So maybe I'll put a Ric Flair spin on this. I'm the hustle and you're the muscle, baby.
That works. I'm okay with that.
Right there. Yeah. But we do, for all of you watching the replay, we appreciate you. We appreciate everybody. Please try to spread the links out on this show. Get some more people. Smash it. Share it. This is one of the shows I can tell you. I mean, I do a couple shows a week, but I really do love and dig talking about wrestling. And I love talking about wrestling with this guy here. And I would love to talk about wrestling with all you other guys. So reach out.
Bring it. I'm here for the heat. I want the smoke. Bring it.
You gotta do the rock. Don't just sing it. Bring it. So yeah, definitely come on. But we appreciate you all. Hope you guys had a great Mother's Day. Yep. I hope you enjoy your week. Enjoy the wrestling, and we will see you next week. Thank you all. Suplex Syndicate is out.